Okay. I am now I am now officially live. Maybe I should clean up my room a little bit. Got a oh, I should probably also move this. I've got a bag of rocks in the corner over here that has a very specific name on it
Oh
of
my god.
of a place of where we live that's nearby, so maybe I should move that.
You should totally move that.
Yeah, no. Okay. Is everything safe in here? Yeah. Just my seat. Let's see what I'm learning about today. Yeah, I've been live streaming my classwork. This is the second time I've done this. The first time I did it, I worked on my classwork for 2 hours straight with like only two breaks, and I was like really shocked that it worked.
Oh my god. And like people just sat and watched you?
People would hop in. I had one guy hop in who we had a theater class a couple of semesters ago together, and he hopped in and he said, "Are you live streaming your classwork?" And I was like, "Yeah, bro." And then he sent me a bunch of roses.
That's hilarious.
But no, there's something about live streaming my college work that like keeps me on track and prevents me from getting out of hand. Um, and like just stopping and getting up and walking around.
Okay, but I mean, relatable.
It's like having it's like I know I'm being watched and so I don't want people to think that I'm like not serious about this. I promise I'm very serious about my schooling. I mean not really,
Especially.
but also yeah. Oh wow, we just got a ooh, we love super racist depictions. Oh, this is crazy.
Oh?
Yeah, no, so it's a political cartoon. It was in Puck magazine from January 25th, 1899 and captures the mindset of American imperialists. And it's got a bunch of it's got Uncle Sam teaching a class with a bunch of white kids in the background, but it's got a bunch of kids of color up front and they have different sashes that say like the Philippines, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, Cuba. And then in the back you can see I don't know if it's a child or a full grown man. I can't really tell because of the drawing, but it is a person of color who is wiping down a window while watching the class from a distance. And then next to the front door, there is a Native American depiction, a very racist American depiction. They're reading like a book, and then there is another racist depiction of a Chinese student who is standing outside of the schoolhouse.
Actually, what the fuck?
I mean, and it's crazy because like looking at these political cartoons makes me sit back and realize, like, damn, this is a horrific like time period in time. Like that's crazy looking. We used to just treat people like shit. We still treat people like shit, but like it really puts into perspective just how bad it was.
Yeah, dude, we are a terrible nation.
I can't see what the sign in the back says. I'm blind as fuck. Ah,
Okay,
okay.
what the fuck is going on here?
What's up? Is your Phasmo giving you trouble?
Not Phasma, but this ghost.
Mm. All right. Are you cool if I read my textbook out loud?
No, I don't care.
Okay, cool. If at any moment you want to say something, just stop me and I'll listen to what you got to say.
Sounds
All right. Chapter 1, the intro. The word empire might conjure images of ancient Rome, the Persian Empire, or the British Empire, powers that depended variously on military conquest, colonization, occupation, or direct resource exploitation. Wow, that's a rhyme. But empires
good.
can take many forms and imperial processes can occur in many contexts. 100 years after the United States won its independence from the British Empire had it become an empire of its own. In the decades after the American Civil War, the United States exerted itself in the service of American interests around the world. In the Pacific, Latin America, and the Middle East, and most explicitly in the Spanish American War and under the foreign policy of Theodore Roosevelt and William Howard Taft, the United States expanded on a long history of exploration, trade, and cultural exchange to practice something that looked remarkably like empire. The question of American imperialism then seeks to understand not only direct American inventions, interventions in such places as Cuba, the Philippines, Hawaii, Guam, and Puerto Rico, but also the deeper history of American engagement with the wider world and the subsequent ways in which American economic, political, and cultural power has shaped the actions, choices, and possibilities of other groups and nations. God. Meanwhile, as the United States asserted itself abroad, it acquired increasingly higher numbers of foreign peoples at home. European and Asian immigrants poured into the United States. In a sense, imperialism and immigration raised similar questions about American identity. Who was an American and who wasn't? What were the nation's obligations to foreign powers and foreign peoples, and how accessible and how fluid should American identity be for newcomers? All such questions confronted late 19th century Americans with unprecedented urgency. Dude, you're telling me I've got to learn more about immigration and how Americans just hated immigrants. I'm so tired. I'm so tired of learning about this.
Literally seeing that like live every day though.
Oh no, it's what's crazy is so like reading the history stuff for this class has made me realize that we have never once had a moment in like history where we have not hated immigrants in America. Like it's been
Which is fucking insane.
Yeah, it's been like day one, immigrants have been coming here and Americans have been pissed about it. Like it's kind of crazy that it's never stopped. You know that one phrase, it's like learn history or you're doomed to repeat it.
Yes.
It's literally that's all my history class is telling me. Is like you if you don't learn this, you're doomed to repeat it. Like the way that we treated the Chinese when they started immigrating here in like the mid to late 1800s was horrific. It was so bad. And also, I've learned, as much as I like trains, I've learned that trains are like the epitome of death for people of color in America.
Yeah.
Like, trains were horrific for people. All right, let's get into part two, the patterns of American interventions. All right, so there's a pattern. American interventions in Mexico, China, and the Middle East reflected the United States' new eagerness to intervene in foreign governments to protect American economic interests abroad. There is a gnat. There is a gnat in my room. It was going for my mouth. Okay.
Bro, I cannot find this fucking ghost.
What map are you playing on?
Please do.
Oh. What do you use it to look for it?
Oh. Fuck me.
Did you find it?
No.
Oh.
I turned on too many lights.
Oh. Me for real. Man, it's dark in here. I just can't see. That's the problem. Okay. American interventions in Mexico, China, and the Middle East reflected the United States' new eagerness to intervene in foreign governments to protect American economic interests abroad. What? The United States had long been involved in Pacific commerce. American ships had been traveling to China, for instance, since 1784, as a percentage of total American foreign trade. Asian trade remained comparatively small, and yet the idea that Asian markets were vital to American commerce affected American policy and, when those markets were threatened, prompted interventions. In 1899, Secretary of State John Hay articulated the open door policy, which called for all Western powers to have equal access to Chinese markets. Hay feared that other imperial powers, Japan, Great Britain, Germany, France, Italy, and Russia, planned to carve China into spheres of influence. It was in the economic interest of American business to maintain China for free trade. The following year, in 1900, American troops joined a multinational force that intervened to prevent the closing of trade by putting down the Boxer Rebellion, a movement opposed to foreign businesses and missionaries operating in China. President McKinley sent the U.S. Army without consulting Congress, setting a precedent for U.S. presidents to order American troops to action around the world under their executive powers. What?
Crazy.
That's crazy. Just didn't consult Congress at all and just sent the army straight overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Wild. The United States was not only ready to intervene in foreign affairs to preserve foreign markets, it was willing to take territory. Oh my god. The United States acquired its first Pacific territories with the Guano Islands Act of 1856. Guano, collected bird excrement, was a popular fertilizer integral to industrial farming. The act authorized and encouraged Americans to venture into the seas and claim islands with guano deposits for the United States. These acquisitions were the first insular, unincorporated territories of the United States. They were neither part of a state nor a federal district, and they were not on the path to ever attain such a status. The act, though little known, offered a precedent for future American acquisitions. Dude, oh my god, we're just out here taking land. Merchants, of course, weren't the only American travelers in the Pacific. Christian missionaries soon followed explorers and traders. The first American missionaries arrived in Hawaii in 1820 and China in 1830. For example, missionaries, though, often worked alongside business interests. And American missionaries in Hawaii, for instance, obtained large tracts of land and started lucrative sugar plantations. Awesome, we're getting racist. During the 19th century, Hawaii was ruled by an oligarchy based on the sugar companies, together known as the Big Five. This white American elite was extremely powerful, but they still operated outside the formal expression of American state power. As many Americans looked for empire across the Pacific, others looked to Latin America. The United States, long a participant in an increasingly complex network of economic, social, and cultural interactions in Latin America, entered the late 19th century with a new aggressive and interventionist attitude towards its southern neighbors. Dude, I thought they fought a whole war to stop the plantations. And
That's
like
crazy.
not even like half a century later we're back on our shit. Bro, I love learning about American history because it's literally just racism, 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 and I'm like, dude, please.
To bully with everything we got until somebody finally nicks us.
Yeah, no, it's just nonstop fucking racism the whole time. Just, hey, I like this plot of land you've got. I think I'm gonna take it. I'm trying to kill this gnat. I
Really?
can't. I dare this gnat to run up on me again. I'm just gonna grab it in between my two fingers and separate it into all of its little pieces. Okay. Alrighty.
Alright. This ghost is very active, and it's been active.
Uh huh.
But I'm finna crash out because I can't find the dumb ghost.
Are you using the thermometer?
I use the thermometer to look everywhere. I use the EMF reader. Of course, I only have tier 1 everything right now because I prestige, so.
Mm.
And it turned the fucking lights off again? Are you for real right now, girl?
Um, I forget which ghost it is, but there's that one ghost that if it turns the lights off, it can't be that ghost. I think it's a Raiju.
It's Jen.
A Jin, yeah, 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 you're right.
I'm gonna fucking. Bitch, are you out here? So I'm gonna crash out.
This is why I hate the farmhouse because part of it's outside, and with the new rework, all the ceilings and shit are open, so the thermometer sometimes just isn't helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just
See, it
try.
turned on the bathroom sink. Actually, I could just live stream for you. I don't know if you have Discord pulled up or if you just have yourself pulled up.
I can pull it up. Okay, I'm watching. So it turned on the bathroom sink upstairs.
Yeah.
Uh, Maybe walk up to the sink and see if the EMF tips.
No, it was like way earlier, but like you see.
I mean, normally it doesn't interact with sinks unless it's in that room. Oh, hey, the
Oh,
bone. It's just trying to help you out, trying to tell you where the bone is.
yeah. So I'm just trying to walk around with UV. I'm wondering if it's a shade because it's like not active at all.
If it only gets active when you walk out of the room, it's more than likely a shade. Um, is there shit
I
for it
wonder.
to throw around in there?
Ooh, you know what? I wonder if it's in the attic.
Oh, in the
I
back
don't think
hallway,
I
maybe?
checked the attic. Oh,
Ah! Ah! Ah!
what the fuck?
That's a big spider. No, thank you.
Hello?
Have you found the cursed object yet?
No.
Isn't the Ouija board upstairs maybe? Oh, hey, is that supposed to be on the floor?
I don't know.
Walk into the beaded area and see if there's shit flung around.
The what?
The beaded room towards the back of the attic there, where you were just at. To the left. Walk through those
Oh, I didn't
beads.
know. Oh.
Oh, it's in
Oh.
there. Yep, there you go.
Hello.
Uh, that looks like a terrarium for a snake, but I don't see a snake in there.
I haven't been up here yet. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, this has been up here for a while. Normally, so to your right there, on that table, not that desk, the one where you were just at. Sorry, the stream's probably got some lag. Um, 180, right behind you. So it's not there, but normally that's where you'll see the tarot cards.
What does this thing do?
Oh, nothing. That's just all for decoration. Apparently, the person that lives up in the attic is like, witchy. Oh my god, you can pick up the orb? Oh my god. I didn't know you could pick up the orb. That's crazy.
Oh shit. Oh god. Against
Imagine
my luck, they had it like where the ghost would hunt if you threw it or something.
that'd be funny. Oh, you can't put it back.
Oh god.
Do you know what's
Fuck.
crazy about the seeing orbs? So if you have one, you're not supposed to put it in a room where it has like direct shine from the sun through a window because it can and will catch your house on fire.
Oh yeah.
That's why you're supposed to leave them covered in like a cloth.
Which honestly is crazy.
Yeah. No, they can and will catch your house on fire. That's why you gotta be careful with some crystals too. If you have really clear crystals, there's a chance that if you leave them uncovered next to like a window that the sun rays will catch it and they can catch your house on fire. That's why people recommend that you don't have like crystals in your bedroom because your bed has all that cloth on it.
Bitch, did you just
Okay, back to reading. American capitalists invested in enormous sums of money in Mexico during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. During the long reign of the corrupt yet stable regime of the modernization hungry president Por- Porfir- Por- I can't pronounce his name. Porfirio Diaz. Whatever. I'm gonna call him Porf.
Yeah.
But in 1910, the Mexican people revolted against Diaz, ending his authoritarian regime but also his friendliness towards the business interests of the United States. In the midst of the terrible destruction wrought by the fighting, Americans with investment interests pleaded for governmental help. But the U.S. government tried to control events and politics that could not be controlled. More and more American businessmen called for military intervention. When the brutal strongman Victoriano Huerta executed the revolutionary, democratically elected President Francisco Madero in 1913, newly inaugurated American President Woodrow Wilson put pressure on Mexico's new regime. Wilson refused to recognize the new government and demanded that Huerta step aside and allow free elections to take place. Huerta refused. When Mexican forces mistakenly arrested American sailors in the port city of Tampico in April 1914, Wilson saw the opportunity to apply additional pressure on Huerta. Huerta refused to make amends, and Wilson therefore asked Congress for authority to use force against Mexico. But even before Congress could respond, Wilson invaded and took the port city of Veracruz to prevent, he said, a German shipment of arms from reaching Huerta's forces. That's crazy. The Huerta government fell in July 1914, and the American occupation lasted until November when Venustiano Carranza, a rival of Huerta, took power. When Wilson threw American support behind Carranza, and not his more radical and now rival Pancho Villa, Villa and several hundred supporters attacked American interests and raided the town of Columbus, New Mexico in March 1916, and killed over a dozen soldiers and civilians. Wilson ordered a punitive expedition of several thousand soldiers led by General John J. Blackjack Pershing to enter northern Mexico and capture Villa, but Villa eluding Pershing for nearly a year, and in 1917, with war in Europe looming and great injury done to U.S. Mexican relations, Pershing left Mexico. The United States' actions during the Mexican Revolution reflected longstanding American policy that justified interventionist actions in Latin American politics because of their potential bearing on the United States, on citizens, on shared territorial borders, and perhaps most significantly, on economic investments. This example highlights the role of geography or perhaps proximity in the pursuit of imperial outcomes. But American interactions in more distant locations in the Middle East, for instance, look quite different. In 1867, Mark Twain traveled to the Middle East as part of a large tour group of Americans. In his satirical travelogue, The Innocents Abroad, he wrote, "The people stared at us everywhere, and we stared at them. We generally made them feel rather small, too, before we got done with them, because we bore down on them with America's greatness until we crushed them. Oh my God." When Americans later intervened in the Middle East, they would do so convinced of their own superiority. Oh my, oh my God, bro. The US government had traditionally had little contact with the Middle East. Trade was limited, too limited for an economic relationship to be deemed vital to the national interest, but treaties were nevertheless signed between the US and powers in the Middle East. Still, the majority of American involvement in the Middle East prior to World War I came not in the form of trade, but in education, science, and humanitarian aid. American missionaries led the way. The first Protestant missionaries had arrived in 1819. Soon, the American Board of Commissions for Foreign Missions and the Board of Missions of the Reformed Church of America became dominant in missionary enterprises. Missions were established in almost every country in the Middle East, and even though their efforts resulted in relatively few converts, missionaries helped establish hospitals and schools, and their work laid the foundation for the establishment of Western-style universities, such as Robert College in Istanbul, Turkey, 1863, the American University of Beirut, 1866, and the American University of Cairo, 1919. Imagine living in the Middle East. You're literally divided by like a whole continent and an ocean from America, and you have colleges in your town that are called the American University of. I'd start crashing out. Oh, I was so confused. You muted yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I was trying to use the spirit box, but also it turned out the light, so I can't figure out how to get out of here. So I'm just kind of fucked.
Do the maze trick. Touch the left or right wall and hold on to it until you find the door.
That's what I was trying to do. But then I keep getting stuck.
Dude, the fucking the pictures, the political cartoons that they have are just crazy. Like it's a picture of Uncle Sam, and he's carrying like trains and textbooks and like various metals and farming equipment and stuff, right? And it's him using the Philippines as a stepping stone to get to China.
It's crazy.
Like, I think I'd be a little mad if someone drew a depiction of pretty much the embodiment of an entire country stepping on my country. Like, bro. Alright. Dude, okay, chapter three's got a kind of creepy name. It's just titled 1898. Oh god. This must be a very important year. Alright. Although the United States had a long history of international economic, military, and cultural engagement that stretched back deep into the 18th century, the Spanish American and Philippine American Wars from 1898 to 1902 marked a crucial turning point in American interventions abroad. In pursuing war with Spain and then engaging in counter revolutionary conflict in the Philippines, the United States expanded the scope and strength of its global reach. Over the next 2 decades, the United States would become increasingly involved in international politics, particularly in Latin America. These new conflicts and ensuing territorial problems forced Americans to confront the ideological elements of imperialism. Should the United States act as an empire, Or were foreign interventions and the taking of territory antithetical to its founding democratic ideals? What exactly would be the relationship between the United States and its territories? And could colonial subjects be successfully and safely incorporated into the body politic as American citizens?
Ah, sorry.
Did you die? Did get you?
Yeah.
Damn. The
Mm,
Spanish American and Philippine American Wars brought these questions, which had always lurked behind discussions of American expansion, out into the open. Dude, did Americans, did we ever quit trying to expand our territory?
yeah, for real.
Like, I feel like I read history books about America and then I'm like, hey, so I don't think this is history because we're still doing it.
Yeah.
Like, bro, that didn't change. Hold up. Alrighty. In 1898, Americans began in earnest to turn their attention southward to problems plaguing their neighbor Cuba. Oh, here comes Cuba. Since the middle of the 19th century, Cubans had tried unsuccessfully again and again to gain independence from Spain. The latest uprising, and the one that would prove fatal to Spain's colonial designs, began in 1895 and was still raging in the winter of 1898. By that time, in an attempt to crush the uprising, Spanish General Va- Valeriano Weyler E. Niccolo, oh god, had been conducting a policy of reconcentration. I cannot speak Spanish. I just need that to be out there in the open. Um, Forcing Cubans living in certain cities to relocate en masse to military camps for about 2 years. Prominent newspaper publishers sensationalized Spanish atrocities. Cubans in the United States and their allies raised cries of Cuba Libre. And while the U.S. government proclaimed a wish to avoid armed conflict with Spain, President McKinley became increasingly concerned about the safety of American lives and property in Cuba. He ordered the battleship Maine to Havana Harbor in January 1898. The Maine sat undisturbed in the harbor for about 2 weeks. Then, on the evening of February 15th, a titanic explosion tore open the ship and sent it to the bottom of the ocean. Three-quarters of the ship's 354 occupants died. A naval board of inquiry immediately began an investigation to ascertain the cause of the explosion, but the loudest Americans had already decided that Spanish treachery was to blame. Capitalizing on the outrage, yellow journals, newspapers that promoted sensational stories, notoriously at the cost of accuracy, such as William Randolph Hart's New York Journal, called for war with Spain. When urgent negotiations failed to produce a mutually agreeable settlement, Congress officially declared war on April 25th. So, you know what's really interesting? So, it's talking here about how the Maine exploded and like three-quarters of the ship's crew passed away. Um, so, when you are a sailor with the military and you're on a boat and it sinks or you die or something and they don't have your body so they can't actually confirm that you're dead, they use the, I forget what the phrase is, but the phrase they use pretty much implies that you're still at sea, that you're still out sailing and doing your
Hey,
job.
Magic, were
Yeah,
you
what's up?
talking to me?
Yes, oh my god, could you not hear me?
I may or may not have walked away while you were reading.
Oh, pfft, okay, sorry. Um,
I wanted to go tell Mark about that beaded room because I didn't know it existed until you just told me.
oh yeah, no, you're good. But no, I was talking about so the main, oh, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Magic.
Okay, cool. So the main, like three-quarters of, well, a third of its occupants, three-quarters is what it says, passed away when the main exploded, which it was stationed out
Oh
in
my
Cuba and
gosh.
stuff, right? Um, when it sank, like a bunch of the crew passed away. But here's what's interesting is when a crew passes away in, like specifically sailors, like the military,
Yeah.
they don't say that you're KIA like they do with like the army or the Marines and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
say that you're still at sea.
What?
Yeah, they say that
I
you're
did not know
still,
that.
yeah, you're still out there doing your job being a crewman. Um, it's really kind of
But dead.
interesting. Yeah, because maybe they don't have your body, they can't confirm that you passed away. Um, so they say you're still at sea, you're still out there patrolling. Um, and it's kind of like, it's kind of sweet in like a morbid way because it's as if you're still alive.
That's crazy, actually.
Yeah, it's really interesting though. It's meant more as like a respect thing than it is like a like we can't accept that you've died thing.
Huh? Nobody? Matt's just explaining something.
3/4 of the Maine that docked in Cuba.
Insane.
Yeah. All right, back to yapping. Although America's war effort began haphazardly, Spain's decaying military crumbled. Military victories for the United States came quickly. In the Pacific on May 1st, Commodore George Dewey, Dewey,
Dewey.
engaged the Spanish fleet outside Manila, the capital of the Philippines, another Spanish colonial possession, destroyed it, and proceeded to blockade Manila Harbor. 2 months later, American troops took Cuba's San Juan Heights in what would become the most well known battle of the war, winning fame not for regular soldiers but for the irregular, especially Theodore Roosevelt and his Rough Riders. Roosevelt had been the Assistant Secretary of the Navy but had resigned his position in order to see action in the war. His actions in Cuba made him a national celebrity. This motherfucker quit his job so he could go to war.
Oh my god.
Like, he really said, nah, bro, they out there fighting. I don't want to go fight. That's crazy.
That's for real crazy work, actually.
As disease began to eat away at American
What?
troops,
I just fucking got here. Why are you already venting?
that goes say, get out of my house.
What's a fucking demon, dude? I don't care.
As disease began to eat away at American troops, the Spanish suffered the loss of Santiago de Cuba on July 17th, effectively ending the war. The two nations agreed to a ceasefire on August 12th and formally signed the Treaty of Paris in December. The terms of the treaty stipulated, among other things, that the United States would acquire Spain's former holdings of Guam, Puerto Rico, and the Philippines. Secretary of State John Hay memorably referred to the conflicts as a splendid little war. Oh my god. And at the time, it certainly appeared that way. Fewer than 400 Americans died in battle in a war that lasted about 15 weeks. Contemporaries celebrated American victories as the providential act of God. The influential Brooklyn minister Lyam Abbott, for instance, declared that Americans were an elect people of God and saw divine providence in Dewey's victory at Manila. Some, such as Senator Albert J. Beveridge of Indiana, took matters one step further, seeing an American victory an opportunity for imperialism. In Beveridge's view, America had a mission to perform and a duty to discharge around the world. What Beveridge envisioned was nothing less than an American empire. Oh, dude, my god, the political cartoons are crazy. Sometimes I just want to go back in time and like grab the nearest person who drew political cartoons and be like, just admit to me that you can't draw black people. Like, just admit to me that you suck at drawing and you can't draw black people. Like, be so fucking for real.
I'm not ignoring you. I'm using
Oh,
the spirit box and I didn't want to interrupt you, but yeah. I can't I remember seeing the like terrible cartoons, fucking history books at school.
well, see, another thing that kills me too is in this specific political cartoon I'm looking at. Um, so it shows like what these places were like before the United States intervened, and then what they look like after, and before they're like rough and tumble and carrying heavy stuff and shit. And in the second image, they're all in suits and carrying bags of money and shit like that, right?
What the
Um,
fuck?
but in the second image, like 4 out of 5 of the people are white, and in the first image, 4 out of 5 of the people are black. So I don't know what happened. Like
What the fuck?
they became Americanized and lost their melanin. Like I can't. Oh no.
This is actually insane.
Dude, political cartoons are so funny. Like they're so bad, but they're so funny. Okay. But the question of whether the United States should become an empire was sharply debated across the nation in the aftermath of the Spanish American War and the acquisition of Hawaii
Hello?
in July 1898. What's up?
You like cut out for a sec.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Chill. Okay. At the behest of American businessmen who had overthrown the Hawaiian monarchy, the United States annexed the Hawaiian Islands and their rich plantations. Between Hawaii and a number of former Spanish possessions, many Americans coveted the economic and political advantages that increased territory would bring. Those opposed to expansion, however, worried that imperial ambitions did not accord with the nation's founding ideals. American actions in the Philippines brought all of these discussions to a head. The Philippines were an afterthought of the Spanish American War, but when the smoke cleared, the United States found itself in possession of a key foothold in the Pacific. After Dewey's victory over the Spanish fleet in the Battle of Manila Bay, conversations about how to proceed occupied the attentions of President McKinley, political leaders from both parties, and the popular press. American and Philippine forces under the leadership of Emilio Aguinaldo were in communication. Would the Americans offer their support to the Filipinos and their ongoing efforts against the Spanish, or would the Americans replace the Spanish as a colonial occupying force? American forces were instructed to secure Manila without allowing Philippine forces to enter the walled city, the seat of the Spanish colonial government, hinting perhaps at things to come. Americans wondered what would happen next. Perhaps a good many ordinary Americans shelled the bewildered sentiments of Mr. Dooley, the fictional Irish American barkeeper whom humorist Finley Peter Dunne used to satirize American life. I don't know what to do with the Philippines any more than I did last summer, before I heard tell of them. We can't sell them, we can't eat them, and we can't throw them into the alley with no one is looking. Oh,
My God.
oh my God. Wow.
That's a lot to unpack, actually.
Yeah, like, dude, God, that's eat them, eat them, dude. What? What? Oh my God. Have we never not been racist? Ugh,
That is fucking insane.
it's just horrific. I'm sorry I'm sitting here and just reading my textbook, but I don't retain the information if I don't read it out loud.
Oh, no, I get it.
Maybe you can help me with my test when I'm done with this. As debates about American imperialism continued against the backdrop of an upcoming presidential election, tensions in the Philippines escalated. Emilio Aguinaldo was inaugurated as president of the First Philippine Republic, or the Malolos Republic, in late January 1899. Fighting between American and Philippine forces began in early February, and in April 1899, the Congress ratified the 1898 Treaty of Paris, which concluded the Spanish American War and gave Spain $20 million in exchange for the Philippine Islands. Like the Cubans, Filipinos had waged a long war against their Spanish colonizers. The United States could have given them the independence they had long fought for, but instead, at the behest of President William McKinley, the United States occupied the islands from 1899 to 1902, waged a bloody series of conflicts against Filipino insurrectionists that cost far more lives than the war with Spain. Under the leadership of Emilio Aguinaldo, Filipinos who had fought for freedom against the Spanish now fought for freedom against the very nation they had claimed to have liberated them from the Spanish tyranny. Wow. Of course, I mean, who would have fucking guessed? The Philippine Insurrection, or the Philippine American War, was a brutal conflict of occupation and insurgency. Contemporaries compared the guerrilla style warfare in challenging and unfamiliar terrain to the American experiences in the so called Indian Wars of the late 19th century. Many commented on its brutality and the uncertain mission of American troops. An April 1899 dispatch from a Harper's Weekly correspondent began, "A week has passed, a week of fighting and marching, of jungles and rivers, of incident and adventures so varied and of so rapid transition, that to sit down to write about it makes one feel as if he were trying to describe a dream where time, space, and all the logical consequences of ordinary life are upset in the unrelenting brutality of war." John Bass described his experiences in detail, and his reportage, combined with accounts that came directly from soldiers, helped shape public knowledge about the war. Reports of cruelty on both sides and a few high profile military investigations ensured continued public attention to events across the Pacific. Amid fighting to secure the Philippine Islands, the federal government sent two Philippine commissions to assess the situations in the islands and recommendations for a civilian colonial government. A civilian administration, with William H. Taft as the first Governor General from 1901 to 1903, was established with military support. Although President Theodore Roosevelt declared the war to be over in 1902, resistance and occasional fighting continued into the second decade of the 20th century. Debates about American imperialism dominated headlines and tapped into core ideas about American identity and the proper role of the United States in the larger world. Should a former colony, established on the principles of freedom, liberty, and sovereignty, become a colonizer itself? What was imperialism anyway? Many framed the Filipino conflict as a Protestant civilizing mission. Others framed American imperialism in the Philippines as nothing new, as simply the extension of a never ending westward American expansion. It was simply destiny. Some saw imperialism as a way to re energize the nation by asserting national authority and power around the globe. Others baldly recognized the opportunities the Philippine Islands presented for Americans for access to Asian markets. But critics grew loud. The American Anti-Imperialist League, founded in 1899 and populated by such prominent Americans as Mark Twain, Andrew Carnegie, and Jane Addams, protested American imperial actions and articulated a platform that decreed foreign subjugation and upheld the rights of all to self-governance. Still, others embraced anti-imperialist stances because of concerns about immigration and American racial identity, afraid that American purity stood imperialed, I don't know how to pronounce that, by contact with strange and foreign peoples. For whatever reason, however, the onset or acceleration of imperialism was a controversial and landmark moment in American history. America had become a preeminent force in the world. Dude, I love it when they make political cartoons and then they make Uncle Sam fat as fuck. Like, it's so good. What did their boss say? Anti-expansion policy, the McKinley and Company National Tailors. Then he's got 13 stripes on his pants, looks like. Or supposed to be 13 stripes, and they all have, like, different states' names on them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's funny that, they all are carrying, like, moonshine bottles that say anti-expansion policy, and they're all also carrying spoons. So they can imply that they're spoon feeding it to America as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
God, political cartoons are so good. Oh,
Hard shit.
that's so funny. It's not moonshine, it's supposed to be weight loss elixir. Oh my god. Th-
I need
There's
to get fucking Raiju, damn it.
oh, because
Anyways,
it's a Raiju.
yeah. I'm trying to do like a two evidence and then take a guess on what I think it is and then get the. That way I can try to do Apocalypse because I can't do Ghost Blink and shit.
Dude, man, I don't think I can ever play on apocalypse mode. It scares the piss out of me. Like I'm actually
I'm
such a
surprised I got Apocalypse 1.
yeah, no, I'm honestly such a wusspuss. I don't think I could handle apocalypse. Be screaming shit and crying. Oh, so you about to hop in here and play Faz?
I'm gonna keep them on the game chat. That way, you can still read out.
Well, if you want, I can mute myself and read, unless you're just interested in American imperialism and
No, it's kind of funny, like hearing your reaction to it.
well, it's just so fascinating. It's like, what do you mean we've been racist since day one? Like
902. Yeah, no, it's funny hearing your reaction to the shit.
dude, you should have listened to me read about what they were doing to the Native Americans. That one was horrific. Did you know?
I can't imagine.
Did you know that the American colonialists, right, almost single-handedly wiped out the bison population in America to the point that they were almost extinct?
No.
Yes, yes, like, no joke, it got me sitting here like, the white man is the problem. We killed all the bison. Like, like, no, like, seriously, what they said, I can't remember the exact numbers, but they said that at one point in time that they could only account for like 20 of them, and they had only been killing the bison for like 30 years.
Insane.
Yeah, and it went from like the millions to like 20 accounted for. And it had
That's
this, ooh,
crazy,
It had this super horrific picture too, where it was like it was two dudes and one was on top of the pile and the other was at the very bottom of the pile, and it was nothing but bison skulls. And it was like the guy at the bottom was like, let's just say he was like 5'5", right? Like average height.
Mm-hmm.
It was probably like 9 or 10 of him tall,
Oh my god,
and it was just the skulls.
that's crazy.
Dude, it was a horrific picture. Like it was, it's fascinating because it's like, oh yeah, this is what we did, like, but also like, holy shit, that's how do you even manage to kill that many bison?
Dude, seriously.
Like there was so many of them. Okay. Now we got chapter 4. Oh, we get to learn about Theodore Roosevelt and American imperialism hand in hand. All right. Under the leadership of President Theodore Roosevelt, the United States emerged from the 19th century with ambitious designs on global power through military might, territorial expansion, and economic influence. Though the Spanish American War had begun under the administration of William McKinley, Roosevelt, the hero of San Juan Hill, Assistant Secretary of the Navy, Vice President, and President, was arguably the most visible and influential proponent of American imperialism at the turn of the century. Roosevelt's emphasis on developing the American Navy and on Latin America as a key strategic area of U.S. foreign policy would have long term consequences. In return for Roosevelt's support of the Republican nominee William McKinley in the 1896 presidential election, McKinley appointed Roosevelt as Assistant Secretary of the Navy. The head of the department, John Long, had a competent but what the fuck is that word? Lackadaisical? We're googling that. What the fuck does lackadaisical mean? Lacking enthusiasm and determination, carelessly lazy.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna start using that. We're putting that word in my regular everyday.
That's pretty lackadaisical.
That's very lackadaisical of you. uh, had a competent but lackadaisical managerial style that allowed Roosevelt a great deal of freedom, which he used to network with such luminaries as military theorists Alfred Thayer Mahan and naval officer George Dewey, and politicians such as Henry Cabot Lodge and William Howard Taft. During his tenure, he oversaw the construction of new battleships and the implementation of new technology and laid the groundwork for new shipyards, all with the goal of projecting America's power across the oceans. Roosevelt wanted to expand American influence. For instance, he advocated for the annexation of Hawaii for several reasons. It was within the American sphere of influence, it would deny Japanese expansion and limit potential threats to the West Coast, and it had an excellent port for battleships at Pearl Harbor, and it would act as a fueling station on the way to pivotal markets in Asia. Roosevelt, after winning headlines in the war, ran as vice president under McKinley and rose to the presidency after McKinley's assassination by the anarchist Leon. Oh, I'm not even going to pronounce that last name. By the anarchist Leon in 1901. Among his many interventions in American life, Roosevelt acted with vigor to expand the military, bolstering naval power, especially to protect and promote American interests abroad. This included the construction of 11 battleships between 1904 and 1907. Alfred Thayer Mahan's naval theories, described in his The Influence of Sea Power Upon History, influenced Roosevelt a great deal. In contrast to theories that advocated for commerce raiding, coastal defense, and small brown water ships, the imperative to control the sea required battleships and a blue water navy that could engage and win decisive battles with rival fleets. As President Roosevelt continued the policies he established as Assistant Secretary of the Navy and expanded the U.S. fleet, the mission of the Great White Fleet, 16 all-white battleships that sailed around the world between 1907 and 1909, exemplified America's new power. Roosevelt insisted that the big stick, I have a big stick, and the persuasive power of the U.S. military could ensure U.S. hegemony over strategically important regions in the Western Hemisphere. The United States used military intervention in various circumstances to further its objectives, but it did not have the ability or the inclination to militarily impose its will on the entirety of South and Central America. The United States, therefore, more often used informal methods of empire, such as so-called dollar diplomacy, to assert dominance over the hemisphere. The United States actively intervened again and again in Latin America. Throughout his time in office, Roosevelt exerted U.S. control over Cuba, even after it gained formal independence in 1902, and Puerto Rico, and he deployed naval forces to ensure Panama's independence from Colombia in 1903 in order to acquire a U.S. canal zone. Furthermore, Roosevelt pronounced the Roosevelt Corollary to the Monroe Doctrine in 1904, proclaiming U.S. police power in the Caribbean. As articulated by President James Monroe in his annual address to Congress in 1823, the United States would treat any military intervention in Latin America by a European power as a threat to American security. Roosevelt reaffirmed the Monroe Doctrine and expanded it by declaring that the United States had the right to preemptive action through intervention in any Latin American nation in order to protect administrative and fiscal deficiencies. Roosevelt's policy justified numerous and repeated police actions in dysfunctional Caribbean and Latin American countries by U.S. Marines and naval forces and enabled the founding of the naval base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. This approach is sometimes referred to as a gunboat diplomacy, wherein naval forces and Marines land in a national capital to protect American and Western personnel, temporarily seize control of the government, and dictate policies friendly to American business, such as the repayment of foreign loans. For example, in 1905, Roosevelt sent the Marines to occupy the Dominican Republic and establish financial supervision over the Dominican government. Imperialists often frame such actions as almost humanitarian. They celebrated white Anglo-Saxon societies such as those found in the United States and the British Empire as advanced practitioners of nation building and civilization, helping to uplift debtor nations in Latin America that lacked the manly qualities of discipline and self-control. I'm so real. I don't think discipline and self-control are inherently manly qualities, but all right. I think that's just good people qualities, but okay. Roosevelt, for instance, preached that it was the manly duty of the United States to exercise an international police power in the Caribbean and to spread the benefits of Anglo-Saxon civilization to inferior states populated by inferior peoples. The president's language, for instance, contrasted debtor nations' impotence with the United States' civilizing influence, bellying new ideas that associated self-restraint and social stability with Anglo-Saxon manliness. What's up, zombie? Hello, hello. I'm doing my classwork. Dollar diplomacy offered a less costly method of empire and avoided the troubles of military occupation. Washington worked with bankers to provide loans to Latin America nations in exchange for some level of control over their national fiscal affairs. Roosevelt first implemented dollar diplomacy on a vast scale, while Presidents Taft and Wilson continued the practice in various forms during their own administrations. All confronted instability in Latin America. Oh, thank you so much for the likes. Greatly appreciated. Where was I? Oh. Rising debts to European and American bankers allowed for the inroads of modern life, but destabilized much of the region. Bankers beginning with financial houses in London and New York saw Latin America as an opportunity for investment. Lenders took advantage of the region's newly formed government's need for cash and exacted punishing interest rates on massive loans, which were then sold off in pieces on the secondary bond market. American economic interests were now closely aligned with the region, but also further undermined by the chronic instability of the region's newly formed governments, which were often plagued by mismanagement, civil wars, and military coups in the decades following their independence. Turnover in regimes interfered with the repayment of loans, as new governments often repudiate I don't know this word repudiated the national debt or forced a renegotiation with suddenly powerless lenders. Creditors could not force settlements of loans until they successfully lobbied their own governments to get involved and forcibly collect debts. The Roosevelt administration did not want to deny the Europeans' rightful demands of repayment of debt, but it also did not want to encourage European policies of conquest in the hemisphere as part of that debt collection. U.S. policymakers and military strategists within Roosevelt administration determined that this European practice of military intervention posed a serious threat to American interests in the region. Roosevelt reasoned that the United States must create and maintain fiscal and political stability within strategically important nations in Latin America, particularly those affecting routes to and from the proposed Panama Canal. As a result, U.S. policymakers considered intervention in places like Cuba and the Dominican Republic a necessity to ensure security around the region. The Monroe Doctrine provided the Roosevelt administration with a diplomatic and international legal tradition through which it could assert a U.S. right and obligation to intervene in the hemisphere. The Roosevelt Corollary to the Monroe Doctrine asserted that the United States wished to promote stable, prosperous states in Latin America that could live up to their political and financial obligations. Roosevelt declared that wrongdoing or an impotence which results in a general loosening of the ties of civilized society may finally require intervention by some civilized nation, And in the Western Hemisphere, the United States cannot ignore this duty. President Monroe declared what Europeans could not do in the Western Hemisphere. Roosevelt inverted his doctrine to legitimize direct U.S. intervention in the region. I thought that said fuck in big bold letters. I love political cartoons. Okay. Though aggressive and bellicose, Roosevelt did not necessarily advocate expansion by military force. In fact, the president insisted that in dealings with the Latin American nations, he did not seek national glory or expansion of territory and believed that war or intervention should be a last resort when resolving conflicts with problematic governments. According to Roosevelt, such actions were necessary to maintain order and civilization. Then again, Roosevelt certainly believed in using military power to protect national interest and spheres of influence when absolutely necessary. He also believed that the American sphere included not only Hawaii and the Caribbean, but also much of the Pacific. When Japanese victories over Russia threatened the regional balance of power, he sponsored peace talks between Russian and Japanese leaders, earning him a Nobel Peace Prize in 1906. That's actually kind of interesting. Oh. We just got a political cartoon of a baddie. What were you saying?
The coast was hunting, so
Mm.
I was only kind of listening.
No, you're good. I understand. No, I'm looking at this political cartoon, and the top of it, it says Puck, like Puck. But before I scrolled all the way down, I thought it just said fuck in big bold letters, and I was like, dude, what?
That's funny.
Man, the way they draw, like, women, too, back in the day, her waist, I could wrap both of my hands around her waist and my fingers would touch.
Interesting.
And then also, they just give her, like, a really big rib cage, but, like, no boobs. Where are her tatas? Okay. I'm gonna take a.
Fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck.
Oh, getting hunted. We're gonna take our first break on the stream so I can let my throat rest.
God dang it.
Alright, I will be right back, stream. All right, guys. Okay, we're back. We're back. Chapter 5, Women Imperialism. I'm alone now. I'm not in Discord with anybody. So now we just get to yap, 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 yap. And that's all you're going to hear. Unless someone says hello, I suppose. All right. Debates over American imperialism revolved around more than just politics and economics and national self interest. They also included notions of humanitarianism, morality, religion, and ideas of civilization, and they included significant participation by American women. In the fall of 1903, Margaret McLeod, age 21, originally of Boston, found herself in Australia on family business and in need of income. Fortuitously, she made the acquaintance of Alexander McWillie, the top salesman for the H.J. Heinz Company, who happened to be looking for a young lady to serve as a demonstrator of Heinz products to potential consumers. McLeod proved to be such an attractive purveyor of India relish and baked beans that she accompanied McWillie on the rest of his tour of Australia and continued on to South Africa, India, and Japan. A baked bean! Wherever she went, this dainty young girl with golden hair and white cap and tucker drew attention to Heinz products, but in a much larger sense, she was also projecting an image of middle-class American domesticity of pure womanhood. Heinz saw itself not only as purveying economical and healthful foodstuffs, it was bringing the blessings of civilization to the world. When commentators such as Theodore Roosevelt in his speech on the strenuous life spoke about America's overseas ventures, they generally gave the impression that this was a strictly masculine enterprise, the work of soldiers, sailors, government officials, explorers, businessmen, and scientists. But in fact, U.S. imperialism, which focused as much on economic and cultural influence as on military or political power, offered a range of opportunities for white middle class Christian women. In addition to working as representatives of American business, women could serve as missionaries, teachers, and medical professionals, and as artists and writers, they were inspired by and helped transmit ideas about imperialism. Moreover, the rhetoric of civilization that underlay imperialism was itself a highly gendered concept. According to the racial theory of the day, humans progressed through hierarchical stages of civilization in an orderly linear fashion. Only Europeans and Americans had attained the highest level of civilization, which was superficially marked by whiteness but also included an industrial economy and gender division in which men and women had diverging but complementary roles. Social and technological progress had freed women of the burdens of physical labor and elevated them to a position of moral and spiritual authority. White women thus potentially had important roles to play in U.S. imperialism, both as symbols of the benefits of American civilization and as vehicles for the transmission of American values. Civilization, while often cloaked in the language of morality and Christianity, was very much an economic concept. The stages of civilization were primarily marked by their economic character hunter gatherer, agricultural, industrial and the consumption of industrially produced commodities was seen as a key moment in the progress of savages towards civilized life. Over the course of the 19th century, women in the West, for instance, had become closely associated with consumption, particularly of those commodities used in the domestic sphere. Thus, it must have seemed natural for Alexander McWillie to hire Margaret McLeod to demonstrate ketchup and chili sauce at the same time as she demonstrated white middle class domesticity. By adopting the use of such progressive products in their homes, consumers could potentially absorb even the virtues of American civilization. In some ways, women's work in support of imperialism can be seen as an extension of the kind of activities many of them were already engaged in among working class, immigrant, and Native American communities in the United States. Many white women felt that they had a duty to spread the benefits of Christian civilization to those less fortunate than themselves. American overseas ventures, then, merely expanded the scope of these activities, literally in that the geographical range of possibilities encompassed practically the entire globe, and figuratively in that imperialism significantly raised the stakes of women's work. No longer only responsible for shaping the next generation of American citizens, white women now had a crucial role to play in the maintenance of civilization itself. They too would help determine whether civilization would continue to progress. Of course, not all women were active supporters of U.S. imperialism. Many actively opposed it. Although the most prominent public voices against imperialism were male, women made up a large proportion of the membership of organizations like the Anti-Imperialist League. For white women like Jane Addams and Josephine Shaw Lowell, anti-imperialist activism was an outgrowth of their work in opposition to violence and in support of democracy. Black female activists, meanwhile, generally viewed imperialism as a form of racial antagonism and drew parallels between the treatments of African Americans at home and, for example, Filipinos abroad. Indeed, Ida B. Wells viewed her anti lynching campaign as a kind of anti imperialist activism. Chapter 6: Immigration. I know it says puck, but I keep seeing fuck. Like, for Americans at the turn of the century, imperialism and immigration were two sides of the same coin. The involvement of American women with imperialist and anti imperialist activity demonstrates how foreign policy concerns were brought home and became, in a sense, domesticated. It is also no coincidence that many of the women involved in both imperialist and anti imperialist organizations were also concerned with the plight of new arrivals to the United States. Sorry. Ooh. Industrialization, imperialism, and immigration were all linked. Imperialism had at its core a desire for markets for American goods, and those goods were increasingly manufactured by immigrant labor. This sense of growing dependence on others as producers and consumers, along with doubts about their capability of assimilation into the mainstream of white Protestant American society, caused a great deal of anxiety among native born Americans. Between 1870 and 1920, over 25 million immigrants arrived in the United States. This migration was largely a continuation of a process begun before the Civil War, though by the turn of the 20th century, new groups such as Italians, Poles, and Eastern European Jews made up a larger percentage of the arrivals, while Irish and German numbers began to dwindle. Although the growing U.S. economy needed large numbers of immigrant workers for its factories and mills, many Americans reacted negatively to the arrival of so many immigrants. Nativists opposed mass immigration for various reasons. Some felt that the new arrivals were unfit for American democracy and that Irish or Italian immigrants used violence or bribery to corrupt municipal governments. Others, often earlier immigrants themselves, worried that the arrival of even more immigrants would result in fewer jobs and lower wages. Such fears combined and resulted in anti Chinese protests on the West Coast in the 1870s. Still, others worried that immigrants brought with them radical ideas such as socialism and communism. These fears multiplied after the Chicago Haymarket Affair in 1886, in which immigrants were accused of killing police officers in a bomb blast. Dude. Oh, that's wild. Uncle Sam's lodging house. Hmm. Oh, my Pearson's giving me trouble. Okay. In September 1876, Franklin Benjamin Sanborn, a member of the Massachusetts Board of State Charities, gave an address in support of the introduction of regulatory federal immigration legislation at an interstate conference of charity officials in Saratoga, New York. Immigration might bring some benefits, but it also introduces disease, ignorance, crime, pauperism, and idleness. What? Sanborn thus advocated federal action to stop indiscriminate and unregulated immigration. Sanborn's address was aimed at restricting only the immigration of paupers from Europe to the East Coast, but the idea of immigration restrictions was common across the United States in the late 19th century. When many variously feared that the influx of foreigners would undermine the racial, economic, and moral integrity of American society, from the 1870s to the 1920s, the federal government passed a series of laws limiting or discontinuing the immigration of particular groups, and the United States remained committed to regulating the kind of immigrants who would join American society. To critics, regulations legitimized racism, class bias, and ethnic prejudice as formal national policy. The first move for federal immigration control came from California, where racial hostility towards Chinese immigrants had mounted since the mid 19th century. In addition to accusing Chinese immigrants of racial inferiority and unfitness for American citizenship, opponents claimed that they were also economically and morally corrupting American society with cheap labor and immoral practices, such as prostitution. What? Immigration restriction was necessary for the Caucasian race of California, as one anti Chinese politician declared, and for European Americans to preserve and maintain their homes, their business, and their high social and moral position. In 1875, the anti Chinese crusade in California moved Congress to pass the Page Act, which banned the entry of convicted criminals, Asian laborers brought involuntarily, and women imported for the purposes of prostitution. A stricture designed chiefly to exclude Chinese women. Then, in May 1882, Congress suspended the immigration of all Chinese laborers with the Chinese Exclusion Act, making the Chinese the first immigrant group subject to admission restrictions on the basis of race. They became the first illegal immigrants. Dude, how, oh God, so you're telling me that we've been sexualizing Asian women since day one? Bro, they just want to live. What the fuck? Okay. On the other side of the country, Atlantic seaboard states also facilitated the formation of federal immigration policy. Since the colonial period, East Coast states had regulated immigration through their own passenger laws, which prohibited the landing of destitute foreigners unless shipmasters prepaid certain amounts of money in the support of those passengers. State level control of pauper immigration developed into federal policy in the early 1880s. In August 1882, Congress passed the Immigration Act, denying admission to people who were not able to support themselves and those, such as paupers, people with mental illnesses, or convicted criminals who might otherwise threaten the security of the nation. The category of excludable people expanded continuously after 1882. In 1885, in response to American workers' complaints about cheap immigrant labor, Congress added foreign workers migrating under labor contracts with American employers to the list of excludable people. 6 years later, the federal government included people who seemed likely to become wards of the state, people with contagious diseases, and polygamists, and made all groups of excludable people deportable. In 1903, those who would pose ideological threats to American Republican democracy, such as anarchists and socialists, also became the subject of new immigration restrictions. Boy. So we're just throwing the First Amendment right out the window. Many immigration critics were responding to the shifting demographics of American immigration. The center of immigrant sending regions shifted from northern and western Europe to southern and eastern Europe and Asia. These new immigrants were poor, spoke languages other than English, and were likely Catholic or Jewish. White Protestant Americans typically regarded them as inferior, and American immigration policy began to reflect more explicit prejudice than ever before. One restrictionist declared that these immigrants were races with which the English speaking people have never hitherto assimilated, and who are most alien to the great body of the people of the United States. The increased immigration of people from southern and eastern Europe, such as Italians, Jews, Slavs, and Greeks, led directly to calls for tighter restrictive measures. In 1907, the immigration of Japanese laborers was practically suspended when the American and Japanese governments reached the so-called Gentleman's Agreement, according to which Japan would stop issuing passports to working-class immigrants. Give me a second, I got a call. Well, never mind. They hung up before I could answer. Okay. Never mind, I guess. In its 42-volume report of 1911, the U.S. Immigration Commission highlighted the impossibility of incorporating these new immigrants into American society. The report highlighted their supposed innate inferiority, asserting that they were the causes of rising social problems in America, such as poverty, crime, prostitution, and political radicalism. The Assault Against Immigrants Catholicism provides an excellent example of the challenges immigrant groups faced in the United States. By 1900, Catholicism in the United States had grown dramatically in size and diversity, from 1% of the population a century earlier to the largest religious denomination in America, though still outnumbered by Protestants as a whole. As a result, Catholics in America face two intertwined challenges, one external, related to Protestant anti-Catholicism, and the other internal, having to do with the challenges of assimilation. Externally, the church and its members remained an outsider, religion in the nation that continued to see itself as culturally and religiously Protestant. Torrents of anti-Catholic literature and scandalous rumor maligned Catholics. Many Protestants doubted whether Catholics could ever make loyal Americans because they supposedly owned primary allegiance to the Pope. Internally, Catholics in America face the question every immigrant group has had to answer. To what extent should they become more like native-born Americans? This question was particularly acute, as Catholics encompassed a variety of languages and customs. Beginning in the 1830s, Catholic immigration to the United States had exploded with the increasing arrival of Irish and German immigrants. Subsequent Catholic arrivals from Italy, Poland, and other Eastern European countries chafed at Irish dominance over the church hierarchy. Mexican and Mexican American Catholics, whether recent immigrants or incorporated into the nation after the Mexican American War, expressed similar frustrations. Could all these different Catholics remain part of the same church? Catholic clergy approached the situation from a variety of perspectives. Some bishops advocated rapid assimilation into the English speaking mainstream. These Americanists advocated to end to ethnic parishes, the unofficial practice of permitting separate congregations for Poles, Italians, Germans, and so on, in the belief that such isolation only delayed immigrants' entry into the American mainstream. They anticipated that the Catholic Church could thrive in a nation that espoused religious freedom, if only they assimilated. Meanwhile, however, more conservative clergy cautioned against assimilation. While they conceded that the United States had no official religion, they felt that Protestant notions of the separation of church and state and of licentious individual liberty posed a threat to the Catholic faith. They further saw ethnic parishes as an effective strategy protecting immigrant communities and worried that Protestants would use public schools to attack the Catholic faith. Eventually, the head of the Catholic Church, Pope Leo XIII, sorry, I had to think there, weighed in on the controversy. In 1899, he sent a special letter, an encyclical, to an archbishop in the United States. Leo reminded that Americanists that the Catholic Church was an unified global body and that American liberties did not give Catholics the freedom to alter church teachings. The Americanists denied any such intention, but the conservative clergy claimed that the Pope has sided with them. Tension between Catholicism and American life, however, would continue well into the 20th century. The American encounter with Catholicism and Catholicism's encounter with America testified the tense relationship between native born and foreign born Americans, and to the larger ideas Americans used to situate themselves in a world of empire and immigrants. Alrighty. Chapter 7. The conclusion. Yes. Oh, guys, we're almost done. While American imperialism flared most brightly for a relatively brief time at the turn of the century, new imperial patterns repeated old practices and lived on into the 20th century. But suddenly, the United States has embraced its cultural, economic, and religious influence in the world, along with a newfound military power to exercise varying degrees of control over nations and peoples. Whether as formal subjects or unwilling partners on the receiving end of Roosevelt's big stick, those who experienced U.S. expansionist policies confronted new American ambitions. At home, debates over immigration and imperialism drew attention to the interplay of international and domestic policy and the ways in which imperial actions, practices, and ideas affected and were affected by domestic questions. How Americans thought about the conflict in the Philippines, for example, was affected by how they approached immigration in their own cities. And at the turn of the century, those thoughts were very much of the minds of Americans. Okay. Okay. Next. Time to watch Crash Course. Fuck. Yo, poo poo pee pee bunny. I love you, baby girl. Time to watch Crash Course. I
Hi, I'm John Green. This
hot
is Crash
take. I
Course
don't
US
like
History, and
Crash
today we're
Course.
going to talk about a subject near and dear to my white male heart: imperialism.
I'm not gonna
Crash
full
Course, we
screen it
occasionally
because
try to
y'all
point
won't be
out
able to
that
see
the US,
everything if I
much
do.
as we hate to admit it, is actually part of a larger world. Mr. Green, you mean like Alaska? No, me from the past. For reasons that you will understand after your trip there before your senior year of college, I do not acknowledge the existence of Canada's tail. No, I'm referring to all of the green parts of not America and the period in the 19th century when we thought maybe we could make all those green parts like America, but without rights and stuff.
But without rights and stuff. Nah. We don't need rights. No. Ridiculous.
So the late 19th and early 20th centuries were a period of expansion and colonization in Asia and Africa, mostly by European powers. As you'll know if you watch Crash Course World History, imperialism has a long, long history pretty much everywhere. So this round of empire building is sometimes called, rather confusingly, New Imperialism. Because the U.S. acquired territory beyond its continental boundaries in this period, it's
Bunch of
relatively easy to
baddies.
fit American history into this world history paradigm. But there's also an
Maybe
argument
not
that
actually, I
the
don't
United
know.
States has always been an empire. From very early on, the European settlers who became Americans were intent on pushing westward and conquering territory. The obvious victims of this expansion/imperialism were the Native Americans, but we can also include the Mexicans who lost their sovereignty after 1848. And if that doesn't sound like an empire to you, allow me to draw your attention to the Russian Empire. Russians were taking control of territory in Central Asia and Siberia and either absorbing or displacing the native people who lived there, which was the exact same thing that we were doing. The empires of the late 19th and early 20th century countries
Real.
were different because they were colonial in their own special way. Like, Europeans and Americans would rule other places, but they wouldn't settle them and more or less completely displace the native people there. Well, except for you, Australia and New Zealand. American historians used to try to excuse America's
Calling out
acquisitions of a
Australia.
territorial empire as something of an embarrassing mistake, but that's misleading because one of the primary causes of the phenomenon of American imperialism was economics. We needed places to sell our amazing new
The
products. And at
Walmart.
the time, China actually had all of the customers because apparently it was opposite day. It's also not an accident that the U.S. began pursuing imperialism in earnest during the 1890s, as this was, in many ways, a decade of crisis in America. The influx of immigrants in the crowded cities added to anxiety and concern over America's future, and then, to cap it all off, in 1893, a panic caused by the failure of a British bank led the U.S. into a horrible economic depression. A Great Depression, but not the Great Depression. It did, however, feature 15,000 business failures and 17% unemployment, so take that, 2008. According to American diplomatic historian George Herring, imperialism was just what the doctor ordered to help America get out of its depression. Other historians, notably Kristen Hoganson, imply that America embarked on imperial adventures partly so that American men could prove to themselves how manly they were, by joining the Navy and setting sail for distant waters. In 1890, Captain Alfred Thayer Mahan published The Influence of Sea Power Upon History and argued that to be a great power, like Great Britain, the U.S. needed to control the seas and dominate international commerce. Tied into this push to become a maritime power was the obsession with building a canal through Central America, and eventually the U.S. decided that it should be built in Panama because, how else are we going to get malaria? In order to protect this canal, we would need a man, a plan, a canal, Panama. Sorry, I just wanted to get the palindrome in there somewhere. No, we would actually need much more than a man and a plan. We would need ships, and in order to have a functioning two-ocean navy, we would need colonies. Why? Because the steamships at the time were powered by coal, and in order to refuel, they needed coal depots. I mean, I suppose we could have, rented harbor space, but why rent when you can conquer? Also, nationalism and the accompanying pride in one's country was a worldwide phenomenon to which the U.S. was not immune. I mean, it's no accident that the 1890s saw Americans begin to recite the Pledge of Allegiance and celebrate Flag Day. What better way to instill national pride
I've never seen that
by flying
before.
the stars and stripes over Guam. So pre-Civil War attempts to expand beyond what we now know as the continental United States
Bye,
included
Bunny.
our efforts to annex Canada, which were sadly unsuccessful, and also filibustering.
Have fun watching Little House on the Prairie.
Talking until he or she had
Never
to stop
actually
for pee
seen that.
was a
Looks
thing
good, though.
where we tried to take over Central America to spread slavery. But the idea of taking Cuba persisted into the late 19th century because it is close and also beautiful. The Grant administration wanted to annex it
Who,
and the Dominican
me?
Republic,
No.
but Congress demurred. But we did
I got my
succeed in
feet out.
purchasing Canada's tail. You can see how
Bye.
I feel about
I
that.
love you,
To
bye.
be fair, discovery of gold in the Yukon made Seward's icebox seem like less of a Seward's folly, and it did provide coaling stations in the Pacific. But we could have had rum and Caribbean beaches. Oh, Stan, all this talk about how much I hate Alaska has me overheated. I gotta take off my shirt. Oh.
I've never actually seen this man walk off set.
So hard to take off a shirt dramatically. I'm angry. Anyway, coal stations in the Pacific were important because in 1854 we opened Japan to American trade by sending a flotilla of threatening black ships under Matthew Perry. No, Stan, not that Matthew Perry. You know better. By far America's best piece of imperial business before 1898 was Hawaii. I like oil and gold as much as the next guy, but Hawaii has pineapples and also sugar, which were grown on American-owned plantations by Chinese, Japanese, Filipino, and native workers. Treaties between the U.S. and Hawaiian governments exempted this sugar from tariffs, and America also had established a naval base at Pearl Harbor, which seemed like a really good idea. Then. We eventually annexed Hawaii in 1898, and this meant that it could eventually become a state, which it did in 1959, 2 years before Barack Obama was born in Kenya. And this leads us nicely to the high tide of American imperialism, the Spanish-American-Cuban-Filipino War. The war started out because native Cubans were revolting against Spain, which was holding on to Cuba for dear life as the remnant of a once great empire. The Cubans' fight for independence was brutal. 95,000 Cubans died from disease and malnutrition after Spanish General Valeriano Weiler herded Cubans into concentration camps. For this, Weiler was called Butcher in the American Yellow Press, which sold a lot of newspapers on the backs of stories about his atrocities. And at last we come to President William McKinley, who responded cautiously with a demand that Spain get out of Cuba or face war. Now, Spain knew that it couldn't win a war with the U.S., but as George Herring put it, they preferred the honor of war to the ignominy of surrender. Let that be a lesson to you. Always choose ignominy. Oh, it's time for the mystery document? The rules here are simple. I guess the author of the mystery document, I'm either right or I get shocked. All right, let's see what we got today. With such a conflict waged for years in an island so near us, and with which our people have such trade and business relations, when the lives and liberty of our own citizens are in constant danger and their property destroyed and themselves ruined, where our trading vessels are liable to seizure and are seized at our very doorstep by warships of a foreign nation, the expeditions of filibustering that we are powerless to prevent altogether, all these and others that I need not mention, with the resulting strained relations, are a constant menace to our peace and compel us to keep on a semi-war footing with a nation.
Yeah, we love Darth Maul.
Thank you, Stan.
Okay,
This is
sorry.
obviously President William McKinley's war message to Congress. You can tell it's a war message because it includes the word peace more than the word war. By the way, it's commonly thought that President McKinley asked Congress for a declaration of war. He didn't. He let Congress take the lead. That's the only time that's ever happened in all of American history, which would be more impressive if we had declared war more than 5 times. So the document shows us that, at least according to McKinley, we officially went to war for American peace of mind and to end economic uncertainty. It was not to gain territory, at least not in Cuba. How do we know? Because Congress also passed the Teller Amendment, which forswore any U.S. annexation of Cuba, perhaps because representatives of the U.S. sugar industry, like Colorado Senator Henry Teller, feared competition from sugar produced in an American Cuba. Or maybe not, but probably so. Also not the cause of the war was the sinking of the USS Maine. The battleship, which had been in Havana's harbor to protect American
God,
interests,
what a
sank
piece of
after
machinery.
an explosion on February 15th, 1898, killing 266 sailors. Now, most historians chalk up the sinking to an internal explosion and not to Spanish sabotage. But that didn't stop Americans from blaming the Spanish with their memorable meme, "Remember the Maine, to hell with Spain." Let's go to the thought bubble. The actual war was one of the most successful in U.S. history, especially if you measure success by brevity and relative paucity of deaths. Secretary of State John Hay called
Dude,
it
they
a
had
splendid
Alf
little
up in
war,
the
and in
background.
many ways it was. Fighting lasted about 4 months, and fewer than 400 Americans were
Poor
killed in
stuffed
combat,
taxidermy
although 5,000
Alf.
died of, wait for it,
Look at
disease.
him.
Stupid disease, always ruining everything. There weren't a ton of battles, but those that happened got an inordinate amount of press coverage, like the July attack on San Juan Hill at the Cuban city of Santiago, led by future President Theodore Roosevelt. While it was a successful battle, the real significance is that it furthered Roosevelt's career. He returned a hero, promptly became governor
What the
of New York,
fuck?
and by 1900 was McKinley's vice president, which was a good job to have because McKinley would eventually be assassinated. A more important battle was that of Manila Bay, in which Commodore George Dewey destroyed a tiny Spanish fleet and took the Philippines. This battle took place in May of 1898, well before the attack on Cuba, which strongly suggests that a war that was supposedly about supporting Cuban independence was really about something else. And what was that something else? Oh, right, a territorial empire. As a result of the war, the U.S. got a bunch of new territories.
It's kind of a spooky image.
Puerto Rico,
The shadow of an American eagle with the World War II planes in the background.
Would be steaming toward the Philippines. We didn't annex Cuba, but we didn't let it become completely independent either. The Platt Amendment in the Cuban Constitution authorized American military intervention whenever it saw fit and gave us a permanent lease for a naval base at Guantanamo Bay. Thanks, Thought Bubble. So Cuba and Puerto Rico were gateways to Latin American markets. Puerto Rico was particularly useful as a naval station. Hawaii, Guam, and especially the Philippines opened up access to China. American presence in China was bolstered by our contribution of about 3,000 troops to the multinational force that helped put down the Boxer Rebellion in 1900. But in the Philippines, where Americans had initially been welcome, opinions soon changed after it became clear that Americans were there to stay and exercise control. Emiliano Aguinaldo, leader of the Filipino rebellion against Spain, quickly turned against the U.S. because his real goal was independence, and it appeared the U.S. would not provide it. The resulting Philippine War lasted 4 years, from 1899 to 1903, and 4,200 Americans were killed, as well as over 100,000 Filipinos. The Americans committed atrocities, including putting Filipinos in concentration camps, torturing prisoners, rape, and executing civilians. And much of this was racially motivated, and news of these atrocities helped to spur anti-imperialist sentiment at home, with Mark Twain being one of the most outspoken critics. Now, there was some investment in modernization in the Philippines, in railroads, schools, and public health, but the interests of the local people were usually subordinated to those of the wealthy. So American imperialism, in short, looked like most other imperialisms. So Constitution nerds will remember that the U.S. Constitution has no provision for colonies, only territory that will eventually be incorporated as states. Congress attempted to deal with this issue by passing the Foraker Act in 1900. This law declared that Puerto Rico would be an insular territory. Its inhabitants would be citizens of Puerto Rico, not the United States, and there would be no path to statehood. But this wasn't terribly constitutional. unconstitutional. Congress did extend U.S. citizenship to Puerto Ricans in 1917. Now it's a commonwealth with its own government that has no voice in the U.S. Congress or presidential elections and no control over its own defense or environmental policy. The Philippines were treated similarly to Puerto Rico in a series of cases between 1901 and 1904, collectively called the Insular Cases. But Hawaii was treated differently because it had a sizable population of American settlers who happened to be white. Ergo, it became a traditional territory with a path to statehood because white people, and also pineapples. Now let's briefly talk about anti-imperialism. There were lots of people who objected to imperialism on racial grounds, arguing that it might lead to, like, diversity. But there were also non-racist anti-imperialists who argued that empire itself, with its political domination of conquered people, was incompatible with democracy, which, to be fair, it is. The Democratic Party, which had supported intervention in Cuba in 1900, opposed the Philippine War in its platform. Some progressives opposed imperialism too, because they believed that America should focus on its domestic problems. Yet those who supported imperialism were just as forceful. Among the most vocal was Indiana Senator Albert Beveridge, who argued that imperialism was benevolent and would bring a new day of freedom. But make no mistake, underneath it all, imperialism was all about trade. According to Beveridge, America's commerce must be with Asia. The Pacific is our ocean. Where shall we
Pacific
turn for
Rim
consumers
reference.
of our
All right.
surplus? Geography answers the question. China is our natural customer. In the end, imperialism was really driven by economic necessity. In 1902, Brooks Adams predicted in his book, The New Empire, that the U.S. would soon, quote, outweigh any single empire, if not all empires combined. Within 20 years, America would be the world's leading economic power. We didn't have the most overseas territory, but ultimately, that didn't matter. Now, the reasons for imperialism, above all the quest for markets for American goods, would persist long after imperialism became recognized as antithetical to freedom and democracy. And we would continue to struggle to reconcile our imperialistic urges with our ideals about democracy until now. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week. Crash Course is produced and directed by Stan Muller.
Is there another Crash Course? No, cool, thank God. We're gonna skip the discussion. I've still gotta do a short essay and then the discussion and then my English class, but I'm not fucking with none of that. We're gonna do this quiz and be done for the day. Because that's how I do my work. Slowly but surely. Alright, guys. Don't help me, I got this. I totally got this. Probably not, but we'll see. As President Theodore Roosevelt transformed the American Navy by emphasizing which of the following strategies? No, not the first one. I think it was modernizing the Navy and battleships. Farmer Alliances united to form the blank, a third political party that performed well at the grassroots level in the 1890s, the Populist Party. The American Anti-Imperialist League, was it? Founded in 1899, included notable figures such as Mark Twain, Andrew Carnegie, and Jane Addams, who supported American imperial actions. Wait, what? The American Anti-Imperialist League. Okay. I think the answer's in the question. The American Anti-Imperialist League supported American imperial actions. False. Gonna go out on a limb here. What was one of the concerns held by nativists regarding immigrants in the late 19th century? Seen as contributors? No. Viewed as potential allies? No. Immigrants would strengthen? No. Bring radical ideas like socialism and communism. That's what they were scared of. Women participated in the global influence of the United States in many ways, including as all of the following except. I'm going to say U.S. appointed diplomats. Fuck. I don't know. What if that's wrong? Hold up. Sorry, 1 second. I'm responding to people. Never check my phone when I'm doing this. Mm, yeah, diplomats. Diplomats. Go to the next page. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Critics of American imperialism in the Philippines were solely motivated by concerns about access to Asian markets and the economic opportunities presented by the Philippine Islands. I didn't process any of that. Okay. Critics of American imperialism in the Philippines were solely motivated by concerns about access to Asian markets. False? Uh, false. What event prompted the international intervention, including American troops, in China in 1900? The boxer. According to this cartoon, what does the U.S. need to do for the countries in the front chairs? Yeah. Yeah. President Woodrow Wilson recognized Victoriano Huerta's government and supported it with military aid. False? I think. False. When did the United States... 1700s. Alright guys, let's see if I passed. Let's check it out. Did we pass? Yeah! What'd I miss? Oh, well, whoops. I shouldn't have assumed, I suppose. But whatever, I passed. That's all I fucking care about. Okay. So now that I've got my work done for the day, my classwork done for the day, do I need to do any chores? I can do chores later. Okay, we're gonna take a break. I have to pee so bad. I'm gonna get me another cup of coffee. So I have to pee again. Um, and then I'm gonna switch over to Soulframe. We're gonna play some Soulframe, fellas. Alrighty, I will be back. Alright guys, we are back. Oh cool. Alright, it's already got, hell yeah, it's already got Soulframe pulled up. I'm gonna adjust it on both sides here so you guys can actually see the whole world. I'm just gonna, I see that gnat. I don't know if I got it. Okay, yeah, we're just gonna adjust it, that way you guys can see everything as good as we possibly can, because I got that stretched fucking screen. Could always maybe actually for you TikTok guys sucks. I'm gonna cut some of the stuff off. Actually, no. I won't do that. I guess I won't. Okay. Grab out my controller here. Get that shit plugged in. Okay. Cool. As you can see, what the fuck? As you can see, I've already unlocked all of the map I am able to unlock. Oh wait, I forgot to get, there we go. But yeah, I've already unlocked all of the map. Oh, thank you, Dr. Nasty, for liking the live. Okay, but as you can see, I've already unlocked all of the map except for a part that you're not. There isn't actually access to this island over here yet. No, there is. There's a glitch where you where you can kind of like hop out of the map and walk over there, but you're not supposed to be able to get over there, and I'm scared I won't be able to get back. So we're not gonna do that. But this is all of the map that you're actually able to unlock right now of Midrath. And I've just been chilling. It does have a real Souls quality to it with the combat. Hold up, let me see if I can. There we go. Perfect. I'll go fight these guys, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll show y'all the mechanics. So I'm doing the warrior build. Obviously, I've got a sword. You've got your light attacks. You can do 3 consecutive. Of course, you got the dodge and the roll. I have to double tap to do the roll, and then just 1 tap for dodge. And then you've got your heavy attack. You can charge it up. You can also do 3 consecutive attacks like that, or just 1. And then you've got my favorite attack, which is where, actually, let's use it on somebody, because it's no fun unless you use it on somebody. Let's see. Yeah, you'll do. Ah, well. If I could not miss, that would probably be really cool. Ooh! Ooh! Well, it might have been a bad idea going to fight these guys. They're a little high level. It'll be alright. Okay, we're taking out the wizard. You're getting on my nerves. Okay, okay. Wait, hold up. Ah. Okay, whoa. Okay. It is really easy to get overwhelmed. Okay. Taking out the wizard next. The wizards tick me off. Woo! Okay. Yep, you're mad. Oh, okay. The game is super fun. Again, can be a little stressful. Just a tad. I found some really interesting stuff around, though. What I planned to do today was I wanted to roll up to, like, places like this. You can see, like, I don't have the name completely unlocked. Behind me. Let's make sure there's no loot. Okay. So, gotta turn left. I am not about to walk through all that and fight all these people. Yeah, and I've already defeated, I've encountered one boss. I know there's like 5 total bosses. Oh, hey. Hell yeah. Let's go ahead and get my health back up there since I got that extra flask. Oh shit. Oh fuck. That thing's gonna start targeting me. Hey. Hey man. It's alright. You ain't gotta do all that. Please. Yeah, so I'm supposed to run around and find little glowing, Oh shit, there's one right there! Yeah, you see that health bar? That's that thing that shoots at us. And it is I'm not exactly high enough level to be fighting them. So... Oh! Okay. Oh! Oh, he got me. Ah! Okay. Ah! God! Fuck! I'm too low level for these guys. Okay. Fuck. Take my last flask. Fuck! Ah! I'm low on health. This is not good. Oh! Okay, I can probably just sit here and hit this guy then. Oh! Maybe not! I started choking on my own spit right there. No. Okay. I gotta quit getting greedy. That's my problem. I'm just extremely greedy. Yep, fire. Come on. Okay. Oh, shit! Oh, okay. That was not far enough over. course, I have noticed a few glitches with the game. There's some places where you can just easily fall out of the map. Also, stuff like this where you can just hide, which I think this may be on purpose for obvious reasons. Because fighting these guys at low level kind of sucks really bad. And then there's this one glitch, which you see me throwing the sword here. Sometimes when I let off on the trigger where I'm throwing the sword, it won't stop where I tell it to, and it'll just max out the bar anyways. Which, like, not a big deal right now, but it is something I would prefer them to fix before they actually release the game. We're just gonna continue to play it safe here. We are super low in health, so it's not really... Also, disparities in damage. Like, I can get a perfect in the center and get 55 with the throw, but sometimes it'll only give me like 13. I don't know if it's just where I'm not hitting it correctly. Yeah, like, see right there, I let off, and it's still maxed out to the end. Sometimes it can be fixed by, like, letting go early. No, almost there. Once this thing's out of the way, walking around the village will be a lot easier. Cool! Nice. Okay, again, we're looking... Oh! No. We're looking for... a floating ball of light. Where's he going? I mean, he's schmoving. He's got places to be, I guess. Okay, he turned around. Okay. Okay. Nothing over here. Ooh. Fuck. Okay. No health potion. Awesome! It's not like I'm super low on health or anything and desperately need the health potion. It's fine. What is that thing? Oh, it's another one of those mist things. Also, I'm pretty sure the point of this game is we're fighting eco-terrorism, so... Okay. Any of them in here? No. We're just gonna try to, like, sneak around as much as possible. I am not in the mood to get got right now. Fuck, there's another one of them things up there. Okay. Just take a peek inside here. Hello? Floating orbs. Okay. Might be able to get this dude if I can just, like, sneak up on him. Oh shit. Okay. Y'all are too high level. I'm really low on health. This is not beneficial. Woohoo! Woohoo! Yep. Oh, that thing's going off. Fuck. Okay. Whew. So the good news is we do more damage when we're low health. Fuck. This is not ideal. Okay, yeah, come over here. I might have a better time. Yep, fuck! Okay, shit! At least this will get me back to full health. What? No, get to the body. Okay. Okay. Oh, jeez. Stressful. Ow! Damn! Oh, I hear it. Okay. Stuck? Oh no, it's this thing. Oh, please have another health potion. Okay, no? Fuck you. Yes, yes, this thing. This is what we're looking for. And that'll unlock. Okay.
More memories unforgotten.
Comer's Leave. Alright, what else have we not... What names have we not unlocked? This one. Also, I wish I could set waypoints on top of cities. Okay, bro, I can't see the fucking waypoint. It's in the direction of the 1 star. Yeah, I see it now. It's behind the thing. But yeah, I'm gonna try to unlock as many of the names as I can today. We're gonna go left. I don't want to deal with that thing. I do not have a mount yet. I've heard you can get mounts. I do not have one yet. Also, you can cheese a bunch of shit. I've been climbing up rocks like crazy. How close are we? Okay, we're still a good ways away. Oh no, please. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, what are we hitting, buddy? Hey, don't hit me. There's a giant deer trying to kill us, bro. Get your priorities straight, for the love of God. Did he just get hit? Ah! Hey, dude. Fuck off, please. Hey, bro. Seriously, I'm being for real. Dude. I don't know where the stag went. Okay, well, the boss music's fading out, so I'm not gonna deal with it. That's the second time I've ran over this deer and it has spawned. Okay, bro, listen, I'm really not trying to fight you guys. I'm being so for real. Please don't jump me. Oh, I'm walking right around it. I guess I'm gonna have to get jumped. Oh, this'll be easy. Oh, it's the mines.
Tis a noble thing to
Okay, so I've got to try to find those floating orbs in the mines. We're just gonna check every nook and cranny then. Oh. Okay, let's check what's up here first. Heard a heavy. Okay, I have been that way before. I know I've been that way down here before. What's over here? No... no moats? Okay. Well, we go back. Damn. Oh! Damn. Missed. Cool. Alright. What is down this way? Moats. I'm looking for moats. Dude. Come back. Okay. Maybe this way? No. I feel like I've been here. What the fuck is this? You hear that? There's one. Yeah!
drop it.
Okay, there's one more around here somewhere. Let's check our map. Where am I missing? I guess down here? Okay. I don't hear any. I've got everything through here's unlocked. Maybe go up here to the right. This way? Yeah. No, I walked through here. Go back. Maybe there's at least one more moat. For yeah. Hello. Cool. We got it. The Mines of Boro. Cool. Oh hey, there's supposed to be... Let's leave this place. There's supposed to be a boss somewhere around here. Like north of this place. I read it online. It's supposed to be some like marshy area that's kind of messed up. How north is north? What are we talking about? What is this? Why is it so pink over here? Okay, well. Oh, okay. We got enemies that way. What is this? Okay. Alright, that's the end of a dungeon. Oh, they got animals. Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is the best part about this game. Hello! Tiny creatures! Yeah! Yeah! Look at them! They're so cute. Hell yeah, we saved some animals. Ooh. The hubby just texted me and said, "Do you want steak for dinner tonight?" Oh, I'm gonna give him the most life-draining head ever. Okay, I shouldn't have said that out loud. Bonk. Oh shit, y'all are high level. I haven't seen any of y'all above level 1 yet. This is new. Ow. You like pinch me or some shit? They're like urchins. Ow, bro. so I guess they can shoot those things. Oh, okay. So you can go down. Okay. I wish I could cleanse this stuff, but I guess it's not really an option. So it's supposed to be north of the mines of Burrow, but I don't see anything. Let's maybe try going over here. Some dude called a wazard. Not a wizard. A wazard. God, I'm getting kind of hungry. I only had a waffle this morning. Okay. Oh! Okay, so it's supposed to be like a corrupted looking area. Maybe, I should just go back this way. Please don't turn around and start firing at me. I don't think it's seen me. Okay, I got fortunate. Oh. Why is that thing on fire? Let's remove this. Oh. I ain't scared of y'all. Okay. Oh, well, if I was holding the thing, that would help. What is this, and why is it on fire? It's one of those things. Oh, this goes into the Undercity. That must be the dungeon that lets out on the other side there. Hail ye big-legged or otherwise, fancy your arse, handed to you in a game of regatta. Find me down the well. Ooh, regatta? I love to gamble. I love gambling, bro. Yeah, there he is. Hey, buddy, let's play. Come here, Avocot.
Can't get a breath in edgewise.
I'm actually, like, fucking obsessed with this game. Two. Yeah, let's get you out of the way. Okay, that one's safe. Okay. Fuck. Oh, okay, I got lucky. Alright. He's gonna give me that one, I guess. Fuck. Alright. Did not get lucky with that one. Shit. Shit. I really don't want to put... Fuck it. Let's get all our pieces on the board. Ooh. Boom. let's get that out of range. One more out of range. Cool. Okay, are we just gonna continuously move one every single time? I'm getting bored of this. Alright. Okay. Getting a little tricky now. Get that one safe. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh, okay. Woo. Woo. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fuck, I love this game. Fuck. I gotta roll a 1. Yeah! Yeah! That's what I'm talking about. Fuck! Okay. Anything good? Scrap steel. Okay. I'm about to make a board game of Regatta just so I can play it in real life.
Found something
Game's so much fun.
I'll try not to see it ruined.
Oh! Oh, okay.
Only this one I made alone. Arcane was long away, that though. No moonsteel helm, nor master spell. I just struck it across the anvil. Stupid girl. Yet it sang. It sang.
I don't know why she's so hard on herself, bro. Ooh, okay, what does reforging do? Wait. Ah, okay, already crafted. Oh! Oh! We can craft pants! It's time to get some pants!
I'd be keen to see it all.
So I've hit level 2 with her, that's what it is. Okay, cool. Very nice.
All I have said, yet you hold me still? Fine.
Ooh.
Be my vessel then, envoy. Let us fail together.
Okay, so we got got a new sword, right? Is it a short sword, or is it like the sword I have now? Pet the dog. Pet the dog. Yeah! Yeah. It's a good girl. Pet the dog. Alright. Yeah, because we have, not here. We have, yeah. Short blade? What are you? Long blade. Huh. I'm not the biggest fan of the polearm. They're not bad, but it's just not my thing. I could try out a short blade. 125. 125. It's attuned for grace. Better with courage. We'll leave it alone for now. Let's see if we can upgrade anything. Okay. We can, how we have two, so we can, like, one of these. Underground. Okay, powers recharge more quickly. We'll go ahead and increase our maximum life. Let's see here. Oh, okay. I have one unspent. We can either put that shit into courage or grace. Let's put it into grace. That way, if I ever decide to use that the short sword, I have better abilities with it. Okay. Let's go talk to Leonardo da Vinci.
Envoy, welcome back.
Cool. Oh, okay. Why is the Mines of Burrow not on? Dude. Being so for real. Oh. Oh! Okay, so when I unlock an area, I get shit. Okay, cool. Choose your mote. Wording motes can be bound into weapons and packs to increase their power or change their attributes. Dangerous. Loud and repetitive, specifically relating to the sound of falling rocks. Plus 15 fully charged heavy damage. Fishing lure made of foxtail fur. A danger disguised in beauty. Plus 10 courage. Flows on felled enemies. Cool. Okay. I need to go. Okay. Turn right a little. That way. Gonna go find more moats. We get shit for it, so. It's a welcome accompaniment. Oh, it's definitely this town right here. Okay, there's 3, and I don't have any of them. I see one. Ah, fuck. Not one of the dogs. There we go. Okay. Here's another. Shit. Perfect.
This history's envoy, well found.
There's at least one more around here somewhere. I'm just gonna listen for the noise. Maybe I'll find it that way. Let's go inside. Check inside. Nope. I don't see anything. I'll go up this way. Check around. Nope. Maybe up on the rock, perchance? How far out is no longer the town? Damn, I don't know where it's at. Oh, hey. Hey, buddy. Cool. Yo, you're back. It's good. Big legs. What's the name of this place? Looney something.
Ring the bell! Traveler, best for you to report in your goings to Lady Diora.
What? Why are you yelling at me? Who's Lady Diora? Okay, I'm gonna go make a quick cup of coffee. I will be right back. I have my coffee. Delicious. Very good, very good. Okay. I have a message. Ah, I see. Okay. What? Maybe I just need to like walk over here. Okay. Bro. Maybe it's on the other side of the river or something. I really highly doubt that, but suppose it doesn't hurt to check. Oh fuck, they got animals. Okay. Come here. No, give me the mage first. Oh! Fuck. Okay. Okay. What's this? Damn, I don't know where that last smoke could be. Maybe I'm just blind or something. I'm just gonna do a full perimeter check around this village. Maybe down this way? All the cut down trees and shit? I don't see nothing. I don't know. I can't find that last mode. I want to find that last mode. Just can't. Oh. Okay, we'll move on to somewhere else then. We'll go... turn around sharply. One more this way. Yep. Down here? Oh, I see, I see. Oh, I missed. Sad. Owl! Okay. Oh, there's a lot of loot here. Is this scrap metal? Yeah! Scrap metal. Cool. Alright. Is it right here? Yeah. So it's gotta be this. Okay. Looking for moats. Gonna explore this whole area first. This place is really pretty. Hello. Ow. Okay. Moats, moats, moats. Why am I getting whispered at? What is happening? I wonder something. Ah, okay. Foundry wall. What? Oh. What the hell is whispering at me? Okay. I don't see any moats so far. Keep on trucking. I'm sure there's a lot more to this place. Yeah. Cool. Moats, moats, moats. That's the way we came from. Whoa. Ooh. There's a big tree down there. What? Wait. Okay, damn, it won't let me walk that way. Oh, I can't walk off the side at all. Okay. No moats. Okay, where is that one spot back here? That's where I came from. Alright, there's nothing back. No, there was. Where does this go? Something new? I have not been back this way before. Or at least, I think I haven't. Oh god, this place is huge. Okay, wait, let's go back. Let's unlock that part of the map for the other direction too. See how much I'm missing out on both sides. I'd like to fully go over this entire dungeon. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I keep doing that. Thug. Okay. Oh! What the fuck? You scared the shit out of me! Oh! God, this feels like a boss room. Oh, God, y'all scared the shit out of me, dude. Whoa! Whoa! Holy fuck! Oof. God, that scared me to death, dude. Okay, there's a big door. Swear to God. Yup, I knew it. I knew it. Okay, this door does not open. God, yeah, bro scared the fuck out of me, dude. There's gonna be more of them. Hey, buddy. Ah! Okay, yep. Turn it into a horror game, bro. I've got a spike in me? Okay. What is that? Ah! What is this? What? Oh! It's a good thing they don't pay me to be smart. This is definitely a boss room. What am I even fighting here? Might as well go ahead. Okay. Oh wait, is this where I came to fight? What? Oh shit. Hey, dude. Can y'all tell me what's going on? Oh! I hear him. God damn it. Okay, what's making these motherfuckers spawn? I'm getting tired of it. Woohoo! There's a lot of y'all now. Hey guys. Fuck, okay. Okay, I'm getting real tired of this, guys. Sorry. I'm taking off. Oh! Ah! Okay. Okay. Jesus. Okay. I'm done with that. I guess it's just like a non-stop area. Like, test your strength and level up and grind, I guess. Is it this way? Yeah. Hey, buddy. Yeah, it's this way. I came here with the intention of looking for moats, not doing my job.
I'll do what I can.
Okay.
Shall we
Cool.
begin? Forgive me.
Let's go over here and check this out. Aw, baby's sleeping! Yeah! Oh, yes! Sweet baby. No, still not upgraded yet. Maybe? No. We're not gonna worry about it. Okay. Yummy loot. God, there's more of that place up there. Man, I keep going back to the fucking soul cairn shit. I'm not trying to do that. Okay. Let's actually, Yeah, we're gonna go back this way. Explore all the nooks and crannies in this general direction. Hello! Bang! I hear one. I know that sound. Or maybe it's just the background noise. Maybe I'm just tripping, actually. Cute. I can't play in the song. Oh, what's this? Secret area. Oh, I appreciate that, Hilza, but I'm kind of enjoying just playing it without any like prior knowledge, just the raw knowledge. Most of the time, if I get stuck somewhere, I'll just go look it up online. I'm also in the Discord, so I use the Discord a lot too, but right now I'm just genuinely just kind of having fun exploring, dicking around, seeing what all I can find. My favorite part is getting to save the animals. You know, I'm definitely enjoying this game. I'm not very good at it, but that's okay. Bang. Okay. What else? I don't have. I don't think I've been. Okay. Nope. Can I cheese this? Haha. Okay. Oh, hidden behind a bush, eh? All the best things are hidden behind a bush. No, please. Just ignore me. It's alright. Okay. Hello. Darn. Here, wait. Haha. Oh god, there's so many secret areas in this cave. I'm walking through dookie water. What is that noise? What is that? I'm fearful. There's nothing over here? What? You know? Alright. Pretty. Okay, that's a boundary. Alright, time to go back and go in that other direction. And I'll have mapped the whole cave, I think. Unless there's, again, some other secret area that I'm just missing. Yeah, that direction. Okay. Okay, hold up. That looks like my fucking Nernroot from a distance. All I think about Skyrim. Okay. Onward. Hello. Did that NPC just say she's gonna kill me? Oh. Oh. Hello. God. Quit stabbing me. Lexi, why don't you just block? I don't feel like it. Okay, this too looks like a boss area. Huh. Love it when that happens. Oh! Fuck, I hate these things. Please. Did I get it? Okay.
I'd be keen to see it whole.
Oh my god, please. God, I hate those things. They're so freaky. Is this where the wizard's at? I've heard about the wizard. I want to see it real bad. I'm about to get jumped by those things in here, aren't I? I don't want to get jumped by those things. I don't like them. Please. Okay, I don't see nothing so far. Ah! Okay, Jesus, yeah. What is this? What are these things? Is that what shows me? Oh, it summons them, eh? Okay. Hold up. Please, grab it. Okay. I'll just take the L without getting hit once. It's fine. Okay. There's more over there. So that's how I can see those things. Mm. Ow! Okay. God, I hate when those things jump out at me. Don't. Oh! I got grabbed. There's a bunch of them, dude. Yep. It's really good for XP, that's for sure. Oh, they're going ahead and raising them from the dead. Shit. What are y'all fighting? Oh. Ah, shit. Okay. I didn't know they'd fight those guys. Okay. God damn it. Dude. Can I get out of... Okay. Thank you.
Found something, have you? I'll try not to see it ruined.
I'm getting paranoid. I'm waiting for anything and everything to fucking jump out at me at this point. Please. Ah! Leave me alone! Bitch. Oh, this one doesn't work. Need more. Ah! Okay. Okay. Mm. Ah! God, okay. Okay. Please tell me we're done with that area. I do not like those things. They freak me out. Okay, before I forget, I need to go get the steak out of the freezer. Also, blow out that candle. It's been burning for long enough. I'm gonna take y'all with me. Y'all get to hear me dig through my freezer. Is this the steak? Ow. Fuck. Yes, this is the steak. Okay, I'm back. Check the fit. No, okay. Alright. Will this door open? Yeah, cool. Oh, is that the... Okay, let me out. Oh, where the hell? Okay. Did I just come out of a fucking outhouse? No, it's where they keep their hay. Hello. Well, I missed. Hey, guess what? Oh shit, okay. Hmm. Okay. Now I just gotta focus on you. Oh! Okay. Damn it. Drop anything? No. Any moats around this village? Yeah, there's one. What about in here? Nope. Oh, found another.
History is rewritten line by line.
Let's check up here, maybe. I'm not seeing any more. It's always that last one that's the hardest to find. No, I don't see it anywhere. Where are we on the map? Oh, okay. Check down here. Maybe it's on the beach. Not seeing it. In the big boat, maybe? No. No. I don't see anything. Damn. It's always at last moat. Hmm. Oh, yo! Oh, it's good. Wouldn't hurt to go ahead and get all the elixirs we can back. And then we're gonna play regatta! Ah! Ah! Dropping my controller, hold up. I got too excited for regatta, I'm dropping my controller. My bad. Okay. Alright, let's get this shit. Let's gamble! That was a horrible first roll, but whatever. Nah. Just load the board up. That's exactly what we're gonna do. At least while we're in the safe zone. Oh shit. Ah, shit. Ah, that's fair, I guess. That's fair. Damn, I don't like this setup. I did it to myself. Fuck! Fuck! Um... Fuck. We're just knocking each other off the board. Oh, I should have moved it. You live and you learn. I love when he gets mad, bro. That shit's so funny. Like, he's pissed. Oh shit. Okay. We're safe still. I almost feel kind of bad for Avocot. No, let's get you. Okay. I feel good about this setup. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh. Ooh. Mm. Okay. Oh shit. Oh shit. Oh. Oh. Haha. Yes. Okay. Fuck. I love Regatta. Okay. I could play this all fucking day. I'm being so for real. I'm about to just make the board. I love to gamble. It would not be that hard to make this board. I don't have to have the exact board. It doesn't have to look like this. But man, I could like just make this board. Make some coins. Fuck. I want to play Regatta so bad in real life. I feel like me and my friends would love this. I'm fucking obsessed with Regatta. Okay. Stops real quick to beat his ass at Regatta. Purchases a shit ton of stuff from him. Leaves. He must hate me. Hello. Yeah, I see that, but I'm not gonna do that right now. What is that up there? Oh, it's the dog. Awesome. Oh! Oh! What the fuck? Why can I not hit him? Okay. Jesus. Yeah, here's that one that's in a rock. I wonder what animal it is. Is it the beavers? I don't think you picked the beavers up. Yeah, it's the beavers. Okay. Hey, buddy. Look at him going! Oh my god! Please do that again. Oh my god, look at them run! Why are they so fast? Little guys. Yummy. Okay. Just check everything out in here real quick. I don't know. I can't do any more. Yeah, I was gonna say I can't do any more upgrades to that. Upgrades here. I've got 2. Mechanic powers recharging more quickly would be nice. What about... I'll go for that one. Okay. I feel confident in that. Make sure there's nothing else I can build.
Envoy?
Oh. Okay. Okay, cool. Let's check him out.
Greetings and greetings.
Nothing. Alrighty. Alrighty, fellas. I'm gonna hop off. I've been streaming for nearly 4 hours now, so I'm gonna end it here. It's nice seeing y'all. Thanks for joining me for schoolwork. Thanks for watching me play Soulframe. I appreciate it. It was good to see all y'all, and I will talk to you later. Goodbye.